Welcome to Flavors of Belize. I'm Chef Sean Kuylen. Today we're going to be making conch fritters. Conch, all over the world are the same thing. You call lambe in the Caribbean, wadab in Garifuna, caracol in Spanish. Same thing found locally in Belize, right on the Barrier Reef. Conch is one of them things where people afraid of. They think that you have to cook it down and pound it and cook it for many hours. But in reality, we all eat ceviche, and ceviche is raw conch, so you don't need to go through all of that stress there. Sometimes we would grind it. You could put it on a food processor with the onions, peppers and stuff. But in that case, those on there, you get more flour than conch. So what I did today was dice it. Now when you eat conch, you eat conch fritter because you get a lot of meat in there. So what we do, we take the conch, we put onions, diced, sweet peppers, and flour. Now this is like baking a cake again. We talked about wet and dry ingredients. We want to put the ratio for this would be equal parts flour and liquid. Sometimes people put milk and eggs. In my opinion, when I cook it like that, the oil, it tends to get black, and when you cut it inside the raw, what happens, because it's visually, it's fooling you. You think it cooked, but it's just the milks and the egg yolks, they get cooked. So what I'll use today is beer. So I'll put like 1.5 cups of flour. If you're a fan of Flavors of Belize, you remember around Christmas time I make my black cake and I talk about gluten development. I'm telling you, please not to stir up the flour too much because you get tough because of the protein. Same thing in this case. Now, very easy. Conch, flour, your seasonings that you like. What else I like? Habanero. I don't have some nice and chopped up here. So you add pepper, and again, you could always, if that's not enough, there's no problem and no harm in putting pepper sauce where all we Belizean love to, But put it to your liking. We put garlic, we put black pepper and salt. Everything you always have to season. This is to taste, so I will not know the correct recipe or the measurement until I could taste it raw and I get hurt, I'm not afraid for taste, And remember, the ratio is 1 to 1 to 1. 1 cup of flour, 1 cup of liquid, and 1 teaspoon of baking powder. You still want leavening, Okay, good. So what I like to do, just like a beer butter, I love to add beer. Now you see all that beautiful face there? That is 2 things, carbon dioxide, because it has a fizz, so that gives aeration. This plus the baking powder plus, remember, beer have yeast in it. So I'm using a whisk because again, I don't want to over mix it. You have to go to a consistency, not too wet but not too dry at the same time. So that looks a little bit good. You could also add more beer, no problem. So what's the next step? That are conch fritters. Easy. You could, if you're a vegetarian too, by the way, you could substitute the conch with corn, You have a corn fritter, zucchini fritter, any kind of fritter. That's the ratio, that's the recipe. Now, one of the mistakes we always make at home, the oil is not hot enough. And then you get a soggy product. Or it's too hot and you see smoke and you smoke out all the kitchen and everything. Take a wooden skewer, put it in the oil. Look at that. That's telling you that it's perfect temperature. Now, traditionally we used to say when they used to sell these conch fritters on the carts, they're big and fat, so you get it for like, $2 and you get a fat little saggy thing. But if you want to make it nice and beautiful and pretty and bite-sized, you take the spoon, put it in the oil, that gets hot, dip it in your batter, and you simply put 1 spoon size. And now you have a little beautiful bite-sized conch fritter. Now what's happening? Oil is hot, flour, baking powder, and the beer. The beer is creating that nice brown outer crust, crunchy and moist and just amazing conchs. Even the conchs happy for the swimming at that right now. Okay, look at that. Nice bite-sized, manageable. Look at that, you can't get better than that, man. Not too big, not too small. Listen to the crunch. You hear that? Inside nice and beautiful. Alright. Take them out to drain. Everybody knows to drain in there. You put it on a napkin. And another lion, alright? Look at when I move the napkin, you barely see oil. Why? That's the magic of beer. Lighthouse. Something like that, you wouldn't want to use a dark beer or a stout or a Guinness because, again, you get the effect that it burn. Now we have the confritter. We need to make a sauce for this. What will we make? Something like this could go with tartar sauce, which is mayonnaise based. We could put something sweet. You have the Lizette sauce and stuff that are sweet. Or today, I know a lot of people like to go to Chetumal especially and eat shrimp cocktail. So we're gonna make that same Mexican version, kind of a shrimp cocktail. And we're gonna pair it with this nice conch. What I like to put in the cocktail sauce is basil. So we're gonna chiffon the basil. Put some sugar. So that's, you got sweet, you got the ketchup, you got the acid. Now, put some lime. Seafood loves lime. Some liam perrins. Again, we want to put some fizz in this. Sometimes, you know, you make sangria, so you put soda water, or some people put Sprite and stuff for fizz. The next thing that they would put is crush, but we put orange Fanta. Black pepper, salt, as usual. And you know, when you get the conch, shrimp cocktail and stuff, you get cilantro. And what I like to put is the same basil to give that sweetness. So there you have it. Very simple, easy sauce with a lot of flavors. Spicy, sweet, acid. Now, to plate it, take a nice piece of lettuce. The same thing we did earlier, the chiffonade, no? Cut it up. Just take it, spread it there in the plate. And take your conch fritters, arrange them there. So you take your cocktail sauce, put it on the side. Some people like it more pepper. You could always put some more pepper there. Left it big for them. They could eat that. And more lime if they like. Put them in quarters. And if you want it more sexy, put a little wedge there, and there you have it. Nice conch fritters with beer butter. Flavors of Belize.